welcome to Crossroads Church. It's good to be together. We have an exciting morning planned, as you can see, some extra stuff going on in the room today. If you're able, I invite you to stand and join us as we sing the song together. Hope erupting, darkness shaking, faith is rising. We know, heartbeat racing, living in your freedom, joy overflowing. We know. Our hope forever is the name of Jesus. We are free and you are with us. The church is alive, yeah. Passion burning, vision growing. The church declaring, we know. Our hope forever is the name of Jesus. We are free and you are with us. The church is alive, yeah. Our hope forever is the name of Jesus. We are free and you are with us. The church is alive. The church is alive.
Welcome to Crossroads Church. Whether you're connecting online, in person, or on demand, thank you for making this time part of your week. If you're new to Crossroads, you may be asking yourself, what is this place all about? Well, it's pretty simple. Peace on earth. We're an open and affirming community of people committed to following the peacemaking path of Jesus. And this peacemaking path leads us to focus our work on rewriting what we call the 5 unacceptable truths. These unacceptable truths are 5 realities that hinder human flourishing and destroy peace on earth. Together, we work to replace spiritual emptiness with spiritual vitality, poverty with physical and financial flourishing, fear of the other with inclusion and affirmation, illiteracy with education and opportunity, and modern-day slavery with freedom. This is what we mean when we say, hope is here. Over the next hour, we'll experience the divine mystery together as we sing a few songs, listen for wisdom, and share in communion so that we might leave here inspired and equipped to follow the peacemaking path of Jesus in our everyday normal lives. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God.
This is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like when the church is alive. Sing that with me. This is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like when the church is alive. The church is alive. And our hope forever is the name of Jesus. We are free and you are with us. The church is alive. The church is alive. And
seated. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this Sunday morning at Crossroads Church. My name is Aisha Thomas. I have been a member here for 18 years, and in my everyday normal life, I am an educator consultant. So I go around the U.S. and I get to go to schools and ensure that systems are being followed so that all kids can learn at high levels. I love my job. It is my joy. As you came in today, you should have received a program. If not, go ahead and raise your hand and a room host will bring one by. If you're new here today, welcome. So happy to have you. The program folder is especially designed for you with information that will be helpful. Inside your program folder are a few things we want to point out. Everyone, can you go ahead and find that Connect card in there? Where's that Connect card? Wave it so people can see what it looks like. Yeah, share it around. Now, if you're on the app, you can go ahead and click on the Connect card. This card is for everyone to fill out every week. If you are a regular attender, you know what to do. Put your name, your email, and say, I'm a regular attender here. And if you're new here, check that box new here and fill out as much information as you feel comfortable sharing. Bank accounts are fine, social security numbers, fine. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing, we'll take that information and do with what we will. No, really, it's really a way to connect with you and reach out and just know everybody's welcome here. If this is your first time connecting this morning, we have a gift for you, okay? I love this book I'm about to talk about. It is called The God We Never Knew. I've read it twice. I had to read it twice, I feel like, to really get into it. But it is so helpful in deconstructing things that may have been handed to you in the past that no longer make sense to you about God, about Jesus, about the Bible. It's an awesome book. I highly recommend it. So if on your way out of the atrium, just grab a copy of one of these books at the tables, or better yet, I will be at the Fresh Perspective table after service in the atrium. Just stop on by and we can chat, and I'd love to answer any questions you may have about the book or the church or whatever you want. So I love to talk about myself, so you can ask me questions. That's great. I'm an open book too. Well, if you can believe it, oh my gosh, you guys, Easter, I'm so excited. Easter is just 3 weeks away. I love Easter. I love Christmas. I love Easter. Okay, I love Sunday, but I love Easter. We're so excited for another fantastic Easter with Crossroads. Here's a little preview. Gotta love Easter. Now, I said earlier, I've been coming here for 18 years. Our first Easter here, my oldest, who's about to turn 18, did an Easter egg hunt, right? And I guess it would have been our second Easter here, actually. And it created a tradition in our family that went on for years and years and years. So if you have young ones, children or grandchildren, please bring them, because here's what's going to happen. Easter with Crossroads is where love includes everyone. There's going to be 2 identical services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And in between the services at 10 a.m., we're going to share a light continental breakfast before the big Easter egg hunt for kids at 10:20. So whether you want to stay after the 9 a.m. service or come a little early for the 11, we hope that you can join us for that 10 o'clock hour. Now, with Easter being such a big weekend around here, it means a little extra opportunities to volunteer as we welcome the community in. Now, I invite you to consider jumping in to serve in one of the 2 Easter services. We have needs in kids area, serving with the host team, or, the food setup team. And if you're willing to help out in one of these areas as a one-time volunteer for Easter, just check that appropriate box on the back of your Connect card, and our team will be in touch, okay? And while we're all excited to celebrate Easter, we can't forget that before Easter is what? Good Friday. Oh, let's try that. And what comes before Easter? Yeah, okay, so on Good Friday, the experience this year will be a night of music and stories that invite us to reflect on the injustice of the cross as we grapple with those same injustices in our world today. So, remember, this begins at 6 p.m., and it's with dinner together in fellowship. So you do need to reserve your free, how much does it cost? Free ticket, so that in the event that we have enough food for everyone, okay? So you can go ahead and do that on the Connect card as well. Now, childcare is available through 5th grade, and we ask that you also reserve a ticket for any children that you will be bringing. I went ahead myself. I reserved my ticket today for myself and my 3 children. So we will be here ready to celebrate Good Friday at 6 p.m. I'm so excited. Now, on the back of your Connect card or in the Crossroads app is where you can go ahead and start to reserve those tickets. And if you'd be willing to help out with a Good Friday meal, either by, providing food or helping with setup, you'll find the check boxes on the Connect card for that as well. So, hey, that's all I have for you right now. Go ahead, grab your talk notes, and Ryan's going to be up in just a minute with the next installment of our teaching series, Love is Louder. Woo! Here we go.
How many of y'all over here were completely confused? Like you went over to your normal seats and were like, what the heck is going on? How many of you almost just left? You just were like, if this is the game we're playing, I don't like it. I know. Well, it's like we saw people come in just like, what is going on here? They're changing things again. It's great to see everybody. My name is Ryan. I'm the lead pastor here at Crossroads Church. If you're tuning in online, thank you for being here. If you are out in the atrium, I'm getting a signal. We're supposed to shift over here for the cameras. There we go. All right. Oh, look at that. Do I look better? Don't lie to me, Jeff. Do I look 10 years younger in the light here? All right. Well, it's great to see everybody. If you're a guest today, thank you so much for being here, tuning in online. Inside your program or on the website is my cell phone number. If you're a guest, I'd love to connect, answer any questions you might have. I'm assuming you will have some after this experience. And we can have coffee, we can have lunch, we can have whiskey, whatever you like to buy me, I'm there for, all right? No, it's on me. And sometimes guests wonder if that's really true, if it really is my cell phone number in there. It is. I have no friends, so I'm always happy for people to text me. How many of you have actually sent me a text and we've gotten together and had whiskey or coffee or something? Raise your hand up nice and high so that our guests know it's not a lie. It's not a lie, okay? I lie about a lot of stuff, but not that. I always say that. That's truth. I tickled Aisha on that one, so that was good. I always feel good when I can get a laugh out of Aisha. All right. Hey, listen, today is an exciting day because we're going to live into our value of fun. All right, how many of y'all like to have fun? Okay, so we're gonna live into our value of fun, and we're gonna play everybody's second favorite game. Okay, I know everybody's first favorite game, win Ryan's money. That was before. Okay, we're not winning any more of Ryan's money. The market is way down. Okay, this is not good. Okay, not good for my pieces worth it pledge. You know what I'm talking about? We need things to calm down. All right, but we are gonna play another game today, and it's time to play the game. Know your partner out loud. Know your partner. So would you do me a favor and welcome our 2 contestants to the stage for your favorite game. Come on down, come on down. We are going to welcome Sally and Ross Wabeek and Sam and Jessica Hatton. Come on down. We want to make space for them. And we're going to play our little own version of kind of like the newlywed game. How's that sound? We're going to see how well everybody knows one another. Please, please, please. All right, here we go. Oh, it's like Valentine's edition. I'm going to give that to you. All right, now let's start, first of all, by introducing ourselves to everyone. And what I'd love for you to share is your name, share where you live maybe, share how you met and how long you've been together. So names, what town you live in, how you met, if it's R-rated or below. And then, this is adult church, so that's okay. And then, how long you've been together. We'll start here.
my husband, Sam. We live here in Loveland. We have been together for 4 years.
Woo-hoo.
And we met through a mutual friend that introduced us over Facebook.
Oh, very good, very good. I love it.
Sliding those DMs.
Sliding in. And Sam, I understand we've got this tank out for you today.
Yeah.
Getting baptized today.
Yeah.
Sam is getting
Yeah.
baptized today,
Thanks,
so
guys.
that's exciting. And Luke is getting baptized. Luke, wave at everybody. Luke's getting baptized as well today. That's exciting. Luke, do you want to come play? You want to bring a sibling up? We can make it, we can do it. We can include everybody. All right. And we have... Yeah. Dancing. Ooh. Both taught Sunday school at different churches. Okay. Oh, I don't even know what that means, but okay, whatever. That's great. I love it. Strict and stricter. I love it. Okay, so here's how this game is going to work. It's kind of a traditional newlywed game. You're going to answer the way you think your partner would answer, okay? And we're going to start. Our first question is going to be for the older partner. Who's the older? Raise your hand up nice and high. Okay, so Jess and Mr. Waubing. Ross. All right, Jess and Ross, you're going to answer how you think your partner would answer, okay? And here's your question, all right? Wait, we don't want to answer. Okay, what is your partner's guilty pleasure TV show or movie? Guilty pleasure TV show or movie. So you're going to write down, you're going to answer for you. Jess, you're going to answer for Sam. Ross, you're going to answer for Sally. What is your partner's guilty pleasure TV show or movie? Okay. Wait, all right. And we're going to have, all right, Sally, we're going to have you reveal first. What is your guilty pleasure TV show or movie? Yours. Okay, change your answer. We're going to go over to Sam. not. Okay. What is your? Outlander.
Oh.
Jess, what did you say?
That anime thing.
Is that it?
It's not anime.
No, the one.
I don't know what Outlander is. Is that you could lie to me and say no? That is it. Is Outlander?
That is not it.
That's not it. What is Outlander?
wah.
Who knows Outlander?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, you're
Just
missing
confirms
out.
I am not cool.
You'll fall in love all over again.
Outlander. Okay. What's that anime thing?
I don't know what it's called.
Oh,
he
what
watches
is it
this,
called?
like cartoon show.
Call Invincible.
Invincible.
Yeah.
Very, very angry that she doesn't know the name of that. Okay, Sally, what would be Ross's? Murders only in the building. Only murders in the building. Murders in the building. What's happening today at church? All right, only murders in the building. Law and Order. Oh, gosh. Well, you all get 0 points. 0. I almost want to give you all at least half a point because you're kind of in a similar genre at least. Right? Okay, all right, next question. Ross, you're going to answer what you think Sally's is, all right? No, wait, we just did that. You're going to answer what I need somebody to help me. Okay, so we're swapping here, okay? We're swapping. Here's the question. What is your partner's biggest pet peeve? What is your partner's biggest pet peeve? Biggest pet peeve. So you're going to write your own pet peeve. And then it's going to be an awkward car ride home. What is your partner's biggest pet peeve? Okay, Jess, are you ready?
Yep.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
When the TV is
TV
too loud.
too loud. By Sam's response, I can tell he got it right. Sam, what did you say was her biggest pet peeve?
Want to talk about the closet?
When you talk about the closet, Jess, Jess, this resonates. Could you maybe clue the rest of us in? What about the closet is?
Sam likes to tell people that I abuse him and keep him in the closet.
Oh, okay.
And only let him out for church on Sundays.
Sunday. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, Ross, what is your pet peeve? Your pet peeve is being late. Sally, what did you say? Interrupting him. Evidently, he has more than one. Which would be your? Would you rather her interrupt you or be late? Okay, so she can interrupt you all she wants as long as you're on time. I heard it. You heard it here. Okay, tiebreaker question. Still 0-0. Right? So we're gonna have to have some sort of a intervention here. All right, here we go. We're gonna try to make these multiple choice. Okay, here we go. We're switching again. All right. So everybody know who's writing for who, because I don't. I forgot.
I'm answering.
Okay. What is your partner's favorite food? So Jess, you're writing your favorite food. Sally, you're writing your favorite food. No, we're swapping it.
I'm writing your favorite.
You're writing Sam's favorite food. I forgot who's older and younger. I don't know. Favorite foods. Sally, you're writing your favorite food. I got that one. No, you're writing your favorite food. Hey, don't be judging. You don't know how difficult this is up here. A little snappy today. Haven't had any coffee. Judge me. Hold on now. Okay, Sally, what is your favorite food? Chocolate. All right. What'd you say? Chocolate! We have
All right.
1 point for the you know what? 1,000 points for the Wobbies. All right. Who's
Right?
Sam, what's your favorite food? Pancakes. Jess?
French toast.
French toast.
Close.
We're in the same category.
I know.
That's very close. So I'm going to give you 900 points.
I'll take it.
900 points to 1,000 points. Sally and Ross are our winners for today. Give them a great big hand. I believe on your way out today, as winners, we have some refreshments in the atrium for you.
Where's my gun?
So made just for you to celebrate you today. So thank you very much for playing. Know your partner out loud. Give our contestants a great big hand today.
That was fun.
Thank you very much. How many of y'all would love to be brought up here and ask those kinds of questions? Oh, here, we can take, there we go, I love it. How many of you just love to have to do that in front of all these folks over here? Right? Not fun at all, right? It's tough, right? We want to be known, right? We want to have people know who we are and experience us in a very special and powerful way. If we're honest, like we have people in our lives that we think should know us, and then all of a sudden we realize they don't know anything about us. Has that ever happened to you? Has it ever happened to you when somebody thinks they know you and then they start acting like they know you and you're like, don't act like you know me? Or maybe you say it jokingly because they nailed it, right? They really do like know who you are. Sometimes in our lives, we go through life and we have these relationships where we do feel like we know someone and we feel like we know them intimately, we know them really well, but then something happens. And then one day we kind of wake up and it's culminated and all of a sudden we think to ourselves, I don't think I know you anymore. Right? Have you ever had that experience? Well, of course you know them, right? You know their name, you might know their birth date, their likes, their dislikes, but there's something about them that is unknown. There's something that feels disconnected. Right? It's kind of like that power cord that is connected to the wall outlet that you charge your phone on every day. And then one morning you wake up and you pick up your phone and it didn't charge. And you're like, what happened? I didn't do anything different. But some breaker somewhere or the cord went bad, but something has happened, right? Or maybe you know someone, you think you know them, but then they do something that feels like a bit of a betrayal. And then you hear this phrase, oh, you think you know someone. Like this idea of knowledge, this idea of intimacy is really fascinating. And it's challenging because sometimes we think that we know someone because we know their stats. Right? Sometimes we think, oh, I know this person really well because I know their favorite food is chocolate. Or I know that their favorite food is French pancakes. That's what they meant to write, I know their favorite, like we think and we mistake kind of like knowledge with stats, like intimacy with just amassing all of these stats. But if we're honest with ourselves, how many of us like long for somebody like to know us at a deeper level? Like we want people to know us beneath the surface of those facts. Right? The truth is, like, we want something called union. We want this idea of being known and fully, and knowing someone fully, of having a state of like connectivity that goes beyond just simple facts. But like we said at the very beginning of this series, like we're in this prison of separation. And there's a pain of this fear of separation, of a lie of separation that really keeps us from that experience. It keeps us from being known. It keeps us from knowing others. And the reality is that stats and facts, that kind of knowledge, it really can't transcend. It can't overwhelm the pain of separation. Like that measure of knowing, of being known, will never make us feel safe. The reality is, if all you know about me, right, is just facts, like, it's not going to make me feel safe. It might make me feel a little special that, oh, you know my name, or you like know something about me, but it's not sustainable in terms of like depth of safety and security. Like we have to move for that. If that's where your knowledge about me ends, or my knowledge about you ends, like at the end of the day, you're going to leave me at some point. If I can just share, like, kind of in a bit of a raw way, like this has been the story of my life for 30 years of ministry, right? Like in my profession, you get to know people, you do your best to be present, to build relationships with them, but you realize really quickly that sometimes that relationship is just facts, it's just a name, and then when the carpet isn't the right color, or the children's program isn't going the way they want it to, or you say something, then it's like poof, gone. And people who you share your home with, and like they just leave you. Like for some reason, like my profession has made me acutely aware that you knowing my name or even having been in my home is no guarantee that you're a safe person. And the same is true of me with you. Right? That's just the truth of it. Like if we don't move beyond that kind of stats and facts knowledge, we never have safety. We never can get past our disagreements about carpet colors. We'll always assume the worst in other people. It happens all the time in this experience of church community. If we're just spectators and I'm kind of a monkey up here dancing for everybody, whatever it might be. But until we like gather in community and get to know one another and share our lives with each other, will we be able to transcend that lie that we're not good enough, that separation? There's a really, really wonderful story in the Gospel of John. John is one of our 4 stories about Jesus. John is probably the most ethereal story of Jesus. It's theology, it's not history. John's telling us kind of a historical narrative, trying to help his audience understand the significance of this person of Jesus. Probably our latest gospel, maybe written 50 years after the life of Jesus. And in John chapter 1, so really early on in this gospel, how many of you are familiar with John chapter 1, verse 1? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and we like to talk about that one at Christmas. And John chapter 1 kind of talks about the significance of what was present in this man, Jesus. And shortly after that, it goes into the baptism, and then we have Jesus calling his disciples, like his earliest followers. And it's in that part of the very first chapter of the Gospel of John. I just want to look at a really interesting story and see how it relates to this idea of knowing and knowledge. Now, one thing you might know about me is I'm not a literalist, so I don't read these stories. It doesn't matter to me if they literally happened, if they happened historically. I don't think that's the point. They could have happened literally, that's fine, but I don't take the text that way. I take the text as offering me some sort of wisdom. It's offering me some sort of insight. So my personal decision to follow the teachings and the life of Jesus are not based upon the historicity of it, it's based upon the beauty of it. And those are 2 different things. And so in this story, we get something really beautiful and weird, and it's kind of total, like if you want to know if the Gospel of John is weird, this is a great little section to, yes, the Gospel of John is weird, right? And so this is what it says. It says, the next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee. Now, the thing about Galilee is that's where all the action was happening in Jesus' day. The Sea of Galilee was being commercialized by the city of Rome. It's why most of Jesus' ministry took place around Galilee, because that's where that was a hotbed for all kinds of suffering and pain. Local fishermen, it's no surprise that Jesus' disciples, a lot of them were fishermen, because their lives were being deeply impacted by the policies of Rome that were taking over the sea and making it very difficult for them to fish, to make a living. So Jesus decides to go over to Galilee, and there he finds Philip. And he says to Philip, "Follow me." Now, I would feel like there's probably more to the story. More to the story there, so we just assume, right? So he finds this guy, Philip. He says, "Follow me." Now, Philip was from Bethsaida, which is the city of Andrew and Peter. So we can assume that he knew Andrew and Peter. What John's saying is, like, Philip was a friend of Andrew and Peter. Andrew and Peter probably talked about Jesus. Jesus says, "Philip, you're invited. You're welcome to the table. Come and follow me." And after what he'd experienced with Andrew and Peter, he was like, "I'm in." And now Philip goes, by the way, this is how the message of Jesus still spreads, one friend to another, by the way. Like, we can send out flyers all day long, and that's wonderful. And we can put up signs. But the best way to share the hope of Jesus is by just letting people know what your faith community, what's happening in your own life. That's kind of what's happening here. It's really not that strange. So Philip was from Bethsaida. He knows Peter and Andrew. Now Philip goes out and he finds this guy named Nathanael. And he says to him, "We have found the one about whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote. His name is Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth." Now, what is this saying? Well, Philip is saying, listen, we have found the guy. We have found our hope for freedom, our hope for liberation. We have found the next ruler. We found the next one, like Moses, the next king. And what Philip is referring to is a passage that's found in the Hebrew scriptures in Deuteronomy chapter 18. In Deuteronomy chapter 18, God, Yahweh, is speaking to Moses and says, "I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their own people. And I will put my words in the mouth of the prophet, who shall speak to them everything that I command." And this is where humanity comes in. Oh, and by the way, anybody who doesn't heed the words that the prophet will speak in my name, I myself will hold them accountable. Like, that's propaganda, okay? Like, that's not Jesus. So we know, well, something weird is going on here. It's like, oh yeah, human power and control. But that's the idea, right? So Moses proclaims in his teachings, and what we have in Deuteronomy was passed down, that there will always be a leader who is going to be raised up by God. And that leader you're to follow, and don't you dare question. This is what makes the Bible amazing when you actually read it for what it is, because it gives you the consistency of humanity. Like, if we read it for the consistency of the divine mystery, we're missing out, because who can fathom the depths of the divine mystery? But we can fathom the depths of the human heart. That just gets passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so there's this belief. So now Christianity reads this passage and says, well, Jesus is the fulfillment of it. But Judaism doesn't read this passage that way. Judaism would read this passage and say, well, there's a lineage of leaders, there's a lineage of national leaders that are elected by God to serve the people, to save the people, to lead the people, and they should be followed, okay? So John knows that, and John is bringing this story to his readers. And so here you have Philip, who says, we found the one in alignment, the one who's going to be the next leader, who's going to offer us that liberation. This is the significance of Jesus. This is what Philip believes. This is what the disciples believe. This is the guy who's going to free us from Rome. He's a strong leader. He's worthy of our loyalty. He's a national leader. He's going to bring Israel back to its glory. He's going to make Israel great again. Oh, don't put that clip on the internet. But that's the belief. We're being oppressed by Rome. We don't have our freedom. Look, all that's happening. Jesus is the guy. But here's the thing, Jesus is like, kind of. But Jesus is going to be so much more. And that's really what John is wanting to do here. John's wanting to let his audience know Jesus is so much more than, if Jesus was just a national leader, then his death makes no sense. And so John is trying to explain all of this in his story. And now he says, okay, what's going on here? So Nathanael says to Philip, right? Philip is like, we found the guy. Jesus, he's from Nazareth. A guy named Joseph is his dad. Mary's a little ticked off that she didn't get mentioned, right? Sorry, this is part of the problem with patriarchy, right? So Joseph is there. And Nathanael, he gets it. He's like, can anything good come from Nazareth? How many of you have ever heard that phrase? Like in some way, you don't even have to be a church person. You've heard something like that, right? Like, can anything good come from what city in Colorado do people say? I'm not going to say it, but you're thinking it. I don't know what it is, right? So he's like, what could come from there? And Philip says to him, well, just come and see. Come and see for yourself. Now see, Nathanael understood something. He understood Jerusalem politics. He understood that Jerusalem was the seat of power. Jerusalem was where decisions got made. You had to know people in Jerusalem if you wanted to get things done. Nazareth had zero cultural influence, didn't have any power, didn't have any resources. In fact, the more influential cities that were even around Nazareth, they were losing their power because everything was shifting towards the sea at this point in time. And so Nathanael's like, what are you talking about? And so here's what it says. It says, when Jesus saw Nathanael coming towards him, which means what? That Nathanael was at least open to it. He was at least open to the idea. He trusted Philip enough. So he comes, and when he's off in a distance, Jesus, who's never met this guy, says, here is truly an Israelite in whom there is no deceit. So he sees Philip, he sees Nathanael, he makes this statement. Now, Nathanael's like, you don't know me. He says, where did you get to know me? Right, so he's like skeptical, like how could you know that I am the Israelite? Now again, remember, think about nationalism, think about Israelite. This is the guy. Like no deceit, he wants what's best. And then Jesus says this really interesting statement. He says, well, I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you. I love that in this moment, Jesus sees more than the facts and the stats of Nathanael. I don't know what he saw. But he's like, Jesus doesn't say, well, I was talking to Andrew, Peter, Philip, they know you, they told me. No, he's like, oh, no, I saw you I saw you when you were coming. I saw you under the fig tree. And when Jesus says to this guy, well, I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you, Nathanael replies, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. Which makes me wonder, what was he doing under the fig tree that he did not want Jesus to say out loud? Right? Like I picture this moment like Jesus opened his mail, I don't know. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're the man. Let's not talk about the fig tree anymore. Right? Like, what is going on under the fig tree? No idea. Now, that's kind of more of a jaded, cynical take, but my guess would be we're meant to picture this guy, Nathanael, who is a true Israelite, longing for the freedom, under the fig tree, dreaming of a day where his nation would be free, dreaming of a day when Israel would be in its glory, dreaming of the one who would be the king. And when nobody knew he was under the fig tree. Nobody knew what he was thinking about. Nobody knew what the desires of his hearts were. Nobody knew what he was afraid of as he sat there and pondered under the fig tree. And Jesus says, well, I saw you under the fig tree. And he says, you are the Son of God. Now hold that in your pocket. The Son of God is what he says. You're the King of Israel. Now, the thing to remember here, something really powerful happens. For whatever reason, Jesus says, I saw you under the fig tree, and now, what happens? Nathanael is in. He's in. He's like, you're the Son of God. You're the King of Israel. I am with you. Like, we could call this union. Like, there's something that happens here that deeply connects Nathanael with Jesus. That goes beyond, like, words. It goes beyond it. He just knew it. He moves from this idea, can anything good come from Nazareth, to you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel. Now, please be aware, okay? These are Jewish claims to the throne. This is not a claim of divinity. No first century Jew would ever claim a human being was God. I'm not saying that Jesus was or wasn't. I'm just saying what he's saying here is you are the Son of God, meaning you are chosen by God. You're the King of Israel. These are the same words. David was referred to as a son of God. The king was referred to as a son of God. This is a claim to Jewish throne, the Jewish throne. This is a nationalist claim. Jesus is here. He's going to set us free. He's going to bring back the glory of Israel from the Ancient of Days. And Nathan feels like he gets that at this deep level, and he's in. So he says, you're the Son of God. You're the King of Israel. I'm in. Sign me up. And Jesus says, well, do you believe that because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? We're back to the fig tree, you know. And Jesus says, you'll see even greater things than these. In other words, Jesus offers a broader vision than what Nathanael and the disciples could grasp. Like Jesus is saying, you have in your head this idea that I'm here to bring back the glory of Israel. Like that's what you think. But I've got a bigger plan. I'm in for this, for something much bigger. That's what John wants us to know about Jesus. John wants us to know at the end of the day, Nathanael and the disciples started off as nationalists, and Jesus was a globalist. And I did use those words because it's important that we recognize that our rhetoric is meaningful. And this is the Jesus of Scripture. Like Jesus certainly loved his nation. He certainly loved his people. But when the disciples want to make him king, when the people want to enthrone him, when the people want to make his mission about Israel, he says, no. That's not what this is about. See, Nathanael longs for that national king, that one like Moses, that ruler who could come, worthy of their devotion, worthy of their commitment. But in just a few chapters later, John's going to tell us that for God so loved the world. So you can get mad at me and say that, you know, when I say Jesus was a globalist, but I don't know. That's just what it seems the text says. At least for John, Jesus was far more than one sent for Israel. And in fact, in John chapter 18, we have this really fascinating moment where Jesus stands before Pilate as we enter the Easter season. These are the scenes that oftentimes fill our hearts and our minds. And Jesus is standing before Pilate, and he's been arrested. And he's asking him, are you the king of the Jews? Right? Is this true? Because that's insurrection. That is the death penalty. If there's one thing Rome will spend the money on iron for, are some nails to crucify insurrectionists. Rome had no problems with using iron and the cost of a crucifixion to send a message. And Pilate says, are you the king of the Jews? And Jesus says, my kingdom, what did he say, is not of this world. My kingdom's not of this world. And he goes on and says, if it were, my followers would be in here taking, no, that's not what this is about. And when Jesus says my kingdom is not of this world, I'd like to make it clear that Jesus isn't saying my kingdom is on a planet far, far away in a galaxy long time ago. Like when people want to say that, like, no, like it's the same principle where Scripture elsewhere says be in the world but not of the world. Like there's patterns and there's ways of thinking that seem right to our world, that seem right to the idea of citizenship and borders and boundaries, but these are identities and these are words and these are concepts that are not divine, they're human. And Jesus is saying, the way I think about the kingdom, the one that I'm a part of, transcends this worldly way of thinking about things. And so Nathanael and the disciples think that they're following this one who's going to be king. And then Jesus says, if you think that's what you're in for, you're going to see even greater things. And then he goes on and he tells Nathanael this. He says to Nathanael, very truly I tell you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon, and he doesn't say the Son of God here, remember? Remember, Nathanael called him the Son of God, but Jesus says, John has Jesus say, Son of Man, not Son of God. Son of Man it oftentimes is just a very generic way of saying humanity. It can be a title, but it can also mean a human one. And what is Jesus talking about here? Well, Jesus is taking Nathanael, who has this nationalist mindset, and he's going back, and he's taking Nathanael back, and he's taking the other disciples back to a time before Israel had a king. In fact, it was a time before Israel had a Moses. It was a time before Israel was even a people, before Israel was called Israel. Back when Israel was known as a guy named Jacob. Back when Jacob was fleeing from his older brother Esau because he had stolen a birthright. I mean, it doesn't get more human than that, right? And he takes him back to this story, and he says, this is what you're going to see. Like John is trying to say to his audience, what you think you want to see in Jesus, you didn't. But here's what you actually saw. And here's what you're continuing to see by having Jesus tell this story. And so Jesus says, you're going to see these angels. What's he referring to? Well, Genesis chapter 28. Jacob stops on his way, on his fleeing from Esau. And he stops at a place that hadn't yet been named. He stole the birthright. He doesn't know what life is going to be like. He's fleeing. And while he falls asleep, he has a dream. And he dreams of a ladder or a staircase. And this ladder reaches from earth to heaven. And there are angels descending and ascending upon it. And at the top of it is the Hebrew God, Yahweh. And Yahweh says, he's reaffirming the covenant that Abraham made with him. And he says, I am Yahweh. That's what Lord means. He says, I am Yahweh, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. And so when Jacob awakes, he wakes up from this place and he says, surely the Lord, Yahweh, is in this place, and I wasn't aware of it. And then he names the place Bethel, Beit El in Hebrew, which means house of God. And what he's saying is that space where the angels move up and down, back and forth, that's where God is. That's where God is. And what does Jesus say? I'm going to show you something even greater. Ascending and descending on what? On the Son of Man. See, Jesus is saying, your humanity, your humanity is where you're going to find the divinity. Like John wants his audience to know that yes, Jesus is a king, but not the way that we thought. His kingdom is not the kingdom that we imagine. What John is teaching is that his kingdom is about something that is manifest through our humanness. When we become Beit El, when Jesus becomes the house of God, when we recognize that in Jesus the fullness of God dwells, what we call the incarnation, however you want to take that. But what John is saying is this life, what he stood for, what he did, this is where God is ascending and descending. And I think what it's saying is God ascends and descends. That's the language of antiquity that believed in a separation, that God was out there. But what it's saying is that God moves in and out of this world through humanity and through human love. A love that can say, I saw you while you were under the fig tree. And so Jesus sees beyond Nathanael's fears, his dreams and his hopes about a glorious Israel. He knows what he longs for, this king, yet Jesus knows that that's not the end game. It's just, he knows they're thinking too small. But he welcomes him. He sees him. He knows him, and he doesn't say to him, oh, Nathanael, you're such a moron. How can you think this is about Israel? Come on. That's not how Jesus responds. Why? Because Jesus knows him. He knows his heart. He knows what has shaped him. He knows the pain that he's experienced. He knows the loss. He knows how he's been treated, and he gets it. And he says, I know why you want Israel to be great, because you felt the hand of oppression, but I'm here to tell you there's something even better. And here's what I don't want us to miss about this story that was told thousands of years ago and why it's so beautiful. Because it shows us that a love that is louder than nationalism, a love that is louder than our own fears, our own dreams, it sees beyond us. It sees beyond our statistics. It sees beneath the facts of our experience, and it digs deeper. And that's what a love that is loud does. It sees beyond a person's stats. It sees beyond facts. That's what Jesus is doing here. That's what John is doing. So love is louder than fear and misguided hopes and doubts only when it is committed to knowing a person deeply, to understand where those doubts and where those fears and where those nationalist tendencies and ideologies come from. Like there's the knowing. Remember, we started this a few weeks ago and we said that there's a lie of separation. That's the story of the garden. And this lie of separation, this pain of separation, is the pain of othering. It's the pain of otherness and difference. It's when we see that we're different, when we know that we are other and that someone else is other, we respond in pain and fear, and we produce pain and suffering in the world. This is the human condition, and genuine love is the path to healing and freedom. Right? The only way that in that beautiful story, like Adam and Eve are together unreconciled, only in their difference, but they haven't yet learned to love each other. That's what we said. And then we started exploring, well, what does this genuine love look like? And we said, well, love that is louder is caring. It cares. Love that is louder is responsible and respectful. Brooke last week said that love that is louder, she talked about you have to be responsible and also respectful. It's not controlling. And then today it's about, it's knowledgeable. And it's not just knowing the stats and facts, but it's knowing a person objectively, not subjectively. It's knowing them for who they are. See, we tend to only know people based on our relationship, our connection, our perceptions. We only know people in relationship to our subjective nature. So I judge you. You act a certain way. You live in a certain house. You drive a certain car. And I go, well, they should be giving a certain amount in the offering with that car. And it just doesn't seem, I'm just kidding. I'm just some levity in the midst of a long talk, all right? But we make these assumptions, but what am I doing? I'm knowing you only as you relate to me. But genuine love that can heal and bring freedom says, I have to get rid of all of that stuff and I have to seek to know you objectively as you are. Eric Fromm, in his book, The Art of Loving, he says this: the only way of full knowledge lies in the act of love. This act transcends thought and it transcends words. It's the daring plunge in the experience of union. However, knowledge and thought, in other words, psychological knowledge, just knowing someone, knowing their details, that's not enough, but it is a necessary condition for full knowledge in the act of love. It can begin. And then he says this: I have to know the other person and myself objectively in order to be able to see their reality, or rather, to overcome the illusions, the irrationality, the irrationally distorted pictures I have of that person. Right? You are distorted because I'm seeing you and I'm trying to love you through my lens, through what I want and through how I experience you. And I somehow, if I really want to know you, if I really want to love you, I have to get rid of all of those things. And I have to know you objectively. And he writes and he says, only if I know a human being objectively can I know him in his ultimate essence in the act of love. Think about what Jesus says. This is a true Israelite. No deceit in him. He's got it all wrong, by the way, but a true Israelite. No deceit in him. Like there's an objective way of knowing him. And so in our everyday normal lives, how do we start to try and embrace this way of knowing, this loving? Well, I want to encourage you to go beyond your concerns and see people in their terms. Stop being concerned about someone and just get to know them. Like suspend all your concerns. I don't know about you, I grew up in a religious tradition that the lens in which I encountered every person on this planet was, are they going to heaven or are they going to hell? That was the lens. That was how I assessed you. That was the framework I was handed. That was the only way I could experience a person. Do you know how messed up that is? I would just like to call me on my own messed upness. I mean, for decades of my life, that was the first thought that came into my mind. Is this person going to heaven or is this person going to hell? And then it's somehow my responsibility out of concern to blah, 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 blah. So if I can if I can learn to set aside these concerns and just get to know people on their own terms, to be present with them, right? I can know that a person is angry, right? Even if they don't show it, because I've just been with them and I can go, oh, they're angry. But I can really get to know them if I can go even deeper and I can know where the anxiety or the loneliness or the guilt that is driving that outward emotion of anger. How many of y'all know somebody that they have one emotion and it's anger? How many of y'all came with that person today? How many of y'all are that person? It's human, we are, right? But here's the truth of it. We're actually experiencing all kinds of things and we don't know, we don't have a framework. We don't have the vulnerability to, instead of telling our intimate partner that my feelings are hurt, because we live in a culture that you're not supposed to say that if you're a man or whatever, we just get angry when in actuality our feelings are hurt. But if I can get to know someone, then I can dig deep, and in that moment when they might be angry, I can set aside my concern about their anger. Don't treat me like that. And I can go, oh, wow. I can just meet them right there. And I can recognize, oh, this anger is manifesting from something deeper. And the anger that I see lets me know that there's suffering. There's suffering. There's an anxiety. There's fear. What do you think is happening in our political world today? Suffering, anxiety, and fear. It's driving all of it. Whatever side you find yourself on, that's what's underneath it all. There's just so much suffering. Now, I'm not going to be necessarily in relationship with some of those folks, but I'm in relationship with you all. I'm in relationship with my children, my spouse. It's the same thing at a different level. And if I can learn to recognize that, then I can learn to love deeply. And then that prison of separation can start to break it away. I want to encourage you to listen with your mind and not just your ears. Like when you're experiencing that person that you say you love, and all of a sudden you find yourself having an adverse, or what we would maybe call a negative emotion towards them, ask questions. And in your questions, don't ask questions like, do you feel better now? You got that off your chest? That's not the kind of question I'm talking about, right? But ask questions and make understanding the goal of your love. The goal of my love is not to change you. That's what is so strange for, I think, some people that encounter me in my profession, is I really have zero desire to change you as your pastor. I really don't. My goal is to understand you. My goal is to help you on your journey. My goal is to be hopefully some way, to be some sense of support in your spiritual journey. Now, I can help you through the Christian tradition. I can't help you in another tradition. That's not to say that those traditions are bad. That's just not my wheelhouse, right? I have people, I tell you this all the time, people talk about crystals. I'm like, go for it. I just can't help you. It's not my jam. I don't know. But if we came into our relationships, with our spouses and our children and our coworkers, and said, my goal in loving you is not to change you, make you like me so that you can become a cog in my wheel, but just to understand you. I want to understand and I want to know what you're doing under your fig tree. I see you. I've been under that fig tree before. That fig tree of loneliness, that fig tree of doubt, that fig tree of fear. I've been there. And remember, understanding is different than agreeing. I can understand you and not agree with you, but here's the thing. I don't have to tell you I don't agree with you, because it doesn't matter. Right? One thing I've learned is I'm wrong a lot. And I'd rather understand somebody and sit with that and learn from it than have to say, well, I just disagree with you. I think it's pretty clear if I disagree. I don't need to say it out loud, I might live my life by a different set of values. To me, that's a pretty clear statement that I disagree with, but I understand. I know that our church has different values than other churches. We live in different ways. I understand other spaces. I've been a part of those spaces. I refuse to demonize those spaces because I've been in those, and everybody's on their journey. But does that mean I agree with it? Does that mean I don't think some of it's harmful? But I think there has to be a measure of empathy with all of this. Understanding and empathy are two sides of the same coin of a knowledge that can free us and that can be love. And empathy doesn't say, yeah, I get it. Empathy says, if I would have had the same upbringing you had the same things said to me, if I would have gone through exactly what you have done, I would be making the same decisions you made. And that's tough when you start thinking about the people in our world that we would label as truly evil. But I think the call of the cross is to have empathy, to say, had I been raised that way, had I had those experiences, I would be doing the exact same thing. And if I come to a relationship with that heart, then why would I be interested in judging a person? Why would I be interested in trying to pull out the log or the speck from your eye when I get this big log in my own? Like, why would I do that? But I'm just going to love you, and I'm going to disagree. That's fine. I might vote differently. I might think differently about this or that, but I'm not going to demonize you. You're not going to become my scapegoat where I can say, well, here's what's wrong with the world, you and all your people. There's no difference than that in any other side, right? Like, I can disagree with policies of any presidency, of any administration, of any leadership. I can disagree with my spouse. I can disagree with my children. But in my disagreement, can I understand them? And can I live a peacemaking life that's not bound by hate or fear, but freedom? Doesn't mean I don't engage. I mean, I think there's one thing about me. I'm an engager. But I want to do that in a way that honors the peacemaking path of Jesus, to live a life worthy of the call of Christ. It's not moral perfection. It's, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because when I pray that prayer, I'm realizing I need it myself, because right now I'm doing all kinds of stuff that are harming people that I don't know about yet. And I just want to have that space. I want you to have that space as a person, as a part of this church. And if we live that kind of knowledge, if we seek to know people and understand them in the midst of our differences, and even in the midst of our togetherness, right? What happens? Well, these beautiful, amazing communities and atmosphere of safety and healing are created. I have a feeling that a lot of us are still here. I use the word still very strategically. And you're still here not because, the lead pastor, he's just the greatest preacher in the world. I mean, come on. Like, you can go on the internet and you're going to find way better, right? I mean, I steal all this stuff anyway, I mean, you're not here as wonderful as our volunteers are, and our children's program is. Like, there's far flashier stages, and I have a sense that you're here because you sense that this is a space of safety and healing. And that, to me, is the win. Like, that's beautiful. And so that means we have to hold tension as a community that's engaged in what we believe are things that are just and important and part of the peacemaking path of Jesus, but we engage in a way that we don't create more victims. Because if we create victims in the way in which we engage in justice, we're just participating in the cycle. And I don't know how to do that, right? I'm trying, you're trying, we're trying. I want to do that with my own family, right? I had this lesson that came to me with my kiddos when they were little, and I realized, man, I'm a terrible parent. And it's not like it got any better over the years. You would think I would learn, but I did learn this lesson, that when I could stop myself from being worried about my concerns, like, oh, my kid is making me look bad at the grocery store, or my kid is making me feel like I'm not a good parent, or what will people say? If I could suspend that, or when my kid is like having a tough moment and they're throwing their fit or they're doing whatever, if I could just get out of my own pride and just enter into their space and say, what's going on in your heart? Like, what are you feeling right now? Like, help me understand. And then all of a sudden I can get to know them, and I'm like, oh, that's why you felt like you couldn't be honest, or that, not that my kids ever lied, they're perfect. But when I pause and I would respond so much better by just understanding them. And this is true with my spouse. It's true with everybody that I know. When I start to feel that defensive nature in me come up, and like, I don't deserve to be treated this way. Well, of course you don't. But neither did Jesus. And I don't take it lightly when I say I follow Jesus. So that means there are going to be times where I am mistreated. I don't deserve to be treated that way. But my response as a follower of Jesus is, Father, forgive them. They don't know what to do. Help me understand. And let's let love heal. Let's let love work its power. And in that's when I get to know someone. And that's where like Monday changes and Tuesday changes. And I will say this, it's a long change, right? Like I'm a long change. But the more I'm loved and the more I feel safe, the more I feel vulnerable to express where I need to change, to admit that I need to change. But it's not until that atmosphere gets created can I learn, I got to stop interrupting my spouse when they're watching their favorite anime show, having chocolate. It's a throwback joke to the game, in case you're wondering. So this week, what's God inviting you into? We're going to have communion. We're having a little bit longer service today with the communion, and we're going to do 2 baptisms during our next 2 songs. I hope you'll be patient and stick around a few extra minutes while we do this. And be present in communion, be present in the baptisms of Luke and Sam. And here's the thing, as we do this communion table together, as a reminder, everybody's welcome to the table. There is no creed. There's nothing to sign. You don't have to be a member here. You don't have to believe anything. The table is an invitation to experience a divine love in your life and to trust that there is a divine love to be experienced. And these represent that love is expressed even in death and injustice. So everyone is welcome to the table today. And we have baptisms. Baptisms are funny to me. Not funny, haha, but like, I think if Jesus were to walk in here, and I know some of you are like, Jesus is here. I'm like, okay, but go with me on this. Like, we could see him, and like he's in his dress, okay, and he walks in. I just think Jesus would be like, what are you guys doing? You're still doing that? Like, I really think that's what Jesus, because when Jesus said go and baptize people, right? Like when that happens in Matthew, like people were being baptized all the time for all kinds of stuff. It was really common. I mean, it was just a part of faith. It was a part of the tradition. It happened. There was nothing strange about it. Like most of us don't get baptized in any other space, but this once in our lives, maybe twice if it didn't take, But like, can we just honor that it's kind of weird? Is that okay? Like, it's weird, but it's your choice and it's your decision, and it is beautiful. Because what this is here is a person saying, I'm known. Like, I feel known by God. I feel loved by God. And I want to live in that love. And a way of seeing the world as seeing it filled with, a God that is angry at me, that hates me. Like, I don't see that anymore. And so the baptism is this idea of that old person, that old way of fear and hate and anxiety being defining is coming out alive, new in Christ. It's a beautiful metaphor. So we do this, and we're super proud that people make that decision and want to do that. But that's what that is. If you're a guest today, nobody's wearing matching t-shirts or anything like that. It's a personal choice that someone has made, and we're excited to be a part of this for them. And here's the truth of it. Like, I don't have to understand why every person decides to do this. I just want to cheer him on. I just want to cheer him on. So I want to encourage you during our second song when Sam and Luke are baptized, when they come out of the water, just cheer them on, because they're making a decision that for them is powerful and meaningful. And if you're interested in baptism, you can shoot me a text, or you can go on the website and get information. But we're a low pressure environment around things that are weird like that. But it is beautiful, and I'm super proud to get to be a part of it as these people make that decision. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand, just because it's easier to move around if people have to get to the communion tables. And we're going to have communion together. We're going to celebrate some baptisms. Have a blessing. Just breathe, right? There's no football today. Breathe. We're going to be here for maybe another 15 minutes, okay? But it can be a really powerful 15 minutes, I promise. I really promise. So just take a breath. The body of Christ broken for you, the blood of Christ shed for you, and all 8 billion people on this planet.
Sometimes I'm under starlit sky, but I'm feeling more like dirt. How do I forget so fast who you are and what that's worth? 'Cause there's an evidence of you in every corner of this life. So why do I still try to prove that I don't deserve your time? 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. Seems like madness, I'm invited to the table by your side. 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. I am one whose one ambition is to dance with my divine. 'Cause I am yours. You are, you are, you are, you are mine. Sometimes I'm walking on a ledge and I'm afraid to just look down. It's like I think I'm in control, I'm giving gravity to doubt. But you love me where I am enough for you to not look back. And it's the only kind of love that I have ever felt like that. 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. Seems like madness, I'm invited to the table by your side. 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. I am one whose one ambition is to dance with my divine. 'Cause I am yours. You are, you are, you are, you are mine. Say no, don't let the rain come, 'cause we've got our reservations. But the water that we need is bound to overtake us. If I had to write a story of the greatest love in time, I would have to sing of you. How I'm this branch and you're the vine. And the romance that we have, oh, it's easy by design. I was fortunate to find you. I'm still blown away your mind. 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. Like madness, I'm invited to the table by your side. 'Cause I am yours, and you will always be mine. I am one whose one ambition is to dance with my divine. 'Cause I am yours. You are, you are, you are, you are mine.
Be my life, oh, I surrender. One day is better with you than other. The spirit of life, help me remember that it is my pleasure to say to you, all I am, my life defined by I've been crucified with Christ. The life I live by faith in Jesus Christ who lives in me. flesh is failing, the spirit is willing to point me back to you. For to live is Christ, and to die is better. Help me remember my song to you. My life defined, but I've been crucified with Christ. The life I live by faith in Jesus Christ who lives in me. Remember his atoning, his body broken for me. Remember his approval, he gave his life to save her. Remember his healing, the Lord is interceding. Remember if you have breath, to breathe it out and praise Him. Sing this with us. Oh, I am my life defined, I've been crucified with Christ. The life I live by faith in Jesus Christ who lives in me. Behold, I am my life defined, I've been crucified with Christ. The life I live by faith in Jesus Christ who lives in me.
Love it. Let's give it up for Luke and Sam. Goodness. I got emotional standing over there. I was like, whew, there's some energy here. I love it. Go ahead and be seated just for a second. Got some closing announcements, and then we're going to give you your blessing and send you on your way. Hey, quick show of hands. How many of you are loving this Love Out Loud, Love is Louder series? Yes. My goodness, so amazing. And just a reminder that if you want to dig deeper into these weekly topics from the series, you're invited to check out the ongoing Thursday conversation group. It's every Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. upstairs in the living room in the church office, and childcare is available. In just a minute, I'm going to call the room host forward to receive those Connect cards that we've been talking about and any donations you may have. And while you get that ready, I want to remind you about a volunteer opportunity. Our Weekend Kids program has been growing by leaps and bounds. It's so amazing. But with that growth, it means we need more adults who are willing to invest in the next generation of peacemakers. We have some big volunteer recruitment goals. We're looking for a total of 16 adults who can make a new commitment to volunteer just one time a month. one time a month. And in our either adventure centers, our infants, our preschool, elementary, or students. All training and lessons are provided and a background check is required. And now, if you are willing to help us grow peacemakers from the playground through graduation, please check the box on the back of your Connect card, and our team will be in touch with the next steps. So while the room hosts come on around to collect those Connect cards and donations, here's a little bit more about this volunteer opportunity. Thanks.
What if you could make a difference in the next generation of peacemakers? Right here, right now. At Crossroads, we know that peacemaking begins on the playground. Our kids and students need all types of role models. We need young adults, older adults, introverts, extroverts, people with high energy, people who are calm, snuggly people, and playful people. In short, we need you. Come make a difference in the life of a child or a student by showing up and getting involved. Join the Adventure Center team today.
Eyes up here, though. Eyes up here. All right, if you are a guest, we finished all of our weekend experiences with a blessing. You're welcome to raise your arms out like so to just receive this into your personhood as just hopefully a word of truth for you for this week. May you be blessed by the one who knows you fully and invites you to love others with a depth that surpasses mere facts and figures. And may you seek understanding beneath the surface, seeing clearly the beauty, pain, and dreams hidden within each other and within yourself. And as you offer and receive this deeper love, may your walls of separation dissolve, creating safety and trust and healing in your relationships. So go now, equipped to see others and yourself as deeply and compassionately as you are already seen and known. Amen. Have an awesome week, everyone.